What's up, everyone? I'm Garen Flowers back with Cinemark to talk about the horror mystery Barbarian, where a woman who rented a home through Airbnb finds out that everything is a little off. I'm joined by two of the stars, Georgina and Justin. I'm so glad to speak with both of you. This was an amazing film. How did your characters end up in this predicament in this dubious house?
Tess, she's you meet her right as she comes to this Airbnb. She's in town to get a job. She's trying to start a new life. She's in a relationship that she wants to get out of, and she meets the very handsome Bill Skarsgård and hits it off with him. And then, goes down into the basement and finds some real horror down there. Yeah.
And AJ is he owns the house that has become an Airbnb residence, and he gets into some legal trouble, and so he has to sell off some of his properties to pay for the legal bills. And so he goes to the house. He goes back to the house to kind of like figure out how to sell it.
You take the bedroom, and I'll sleep out here on the couch.
Sunshine through.
God.
The story of how you came up with this idea is fascinating. Can you share that with us?
Sure. I had read a book called The Gift of Fear, and it's a book that encourages women to pay attention to a lot of very subtle red flags that can come up in day-to-day life. Oftentimes, men can have behavior that seems innocuous, but it could belie a very real threat. And it just, as I was reading this, I had this epiphany, I guess, that I don't have to think about this at all. I'm a guy, and I don't have to worry that half the population could be a potential threat to me. And women do. And it's a real shame that so much of their mental hard drive has to be devoted to self-preservation. And so I wanted to write a scenario where a woman would be faced with as many of these seemingly innocent little red flags as I could load in there. So, the idea that he's doing her a favor she didn't ask for, he's touching her luggage, he's complimenting her name, that's not really appropriate in this situation. He's making her tea that she didn't ask for. All these things he's doing, none of them on the face is like that bad, but when you put them all together and you put them in this context, it's menacing. And so that was just an exercise for me to just hang out in my garage late at night and just write this one scene. Wasn't trying to make a movie, just trying to do this. And then I really liked it, and I just kind of kept going with it, and I just started surprising myself, and eventually it turned into what it is.
Some people are too afraid to watch scary movies. They're just too afraid to watch them. But this isn't an ordinary horror film. What would you say to those people so that you can get them to watch this?
If you're afraid of scary movies and horror in general is not really your thing, think of this as a really fun roller coaster ride, and it's gonna be okay in the end. And you're gonna have some moments of concern, but you're also going to have some moments of real laughter. It's going to be real surprising. And overall, this is a really joyful movie. I wrote this from a place of joy. We made it from a place of joy. And I think that the reaction that most people are having is the same. So give it a try. Even if it's not your thing, you're going to be surprised and you're going to have a good time.
I guess I'd say that it's a really fun movie. It's entertaining. It's got horror elements in it, but it's got comedy elements in it. There's a little bit of levity in there. It's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
You'll be able to have a laugh as well.
When we were kids, we used to have to bleed our furnaces, when we get filled up with too much steam, and so you just literally like unscrew some of it and we'd go. And he does that with this movie really well. The tension builds up, but then he releases the steam in such a fun way. And so you want to see it with a group. And if you go with a group, nothing's going to happen if you're with a group.
All right, y'all. Barbarian takes you to a world you won't expect. And the best way to see it is in theaters, so you can see those reactions from your friends. Go check it out at Cinemark. You can get your tickets at cinemark.com.
This process might seem overwhelming, but with a little practice, it can soon become a pleasurable experience.